everybody and welcome back to the channel. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. It's Tony back with you for Masters of the 80s. We're into the spooky season, and I thought we'd have a look at something a little bit different. Most people will be talking about the horror films that's in their collection, and I love watching all that, that's great, but I thought, what can I do that's a little bit different? And I had a dig through the collection and there's a few things cropped up. Now, these are sort of like nostalgic kind of things, look back for me for TV stuff. There was a lot of sort of kids TV back in the day, 80s, very early 90s, that was shown in the UK that felt like a jumping off point for kids moving over into sort of like teen adult kind of stuff, and especially within the sort of like horror kind of genre. Or the sort of like mystery kind of stuff, and there was loads that did it really well, and there's a couple that spring to mind, and one of them we'll have a look at today. We'll have a look at the other ones in a couple of other up and coming videos, but the one I'm going to do is Eerie, Indiana. For anybody that remembers this show, you'll remember it fondly. Had a great theme tune, a great opening theme to this. This was was shown on the BBC in the UK, so this was put into the weekly children's TV slot between 3:30 and 5:30 in the UK on the BBC, and it worked really well. It had a really good fan base. This and an Australian one called Round the Twist. If you've never seen Round the Twist, it's up there with being as good as Eerie, Indiana. We will have a look at that set. I will get to having a look at it. But like I said, this release of Eerie, Indiana, this was put out by Fabulous. Now, you'll know my love for Fabulous. Fabulous do some great work within the UK. And predominantly, a lot of the Blu-rays were all sort of like 80s, 90s kind of films, and they do it really well. Eerie, Indiana never had a Blu-ray within the UK. This DVD box set is really good. Could be picked up relatively cheap now. I mean, I would imagine at this point this is out of print, but to pick it up second-hand, you could pick it up for relatively good money. On a good day, you probably get it for £12 to £15. It's worth every penny, I would say, if you're into the series, or if you've never come across a series but you want to have a look at it. Then this set is a set to get you going. Phenomenally good show. There were 19 episodes to Eerie, Indiana. This particular set has all 19 episodes, and it's got sort of like little synopsis and screen captures from each episode. If you go through the sort of menu screen on it, there's no real special features to say, but it still is a nice set. Comes with a nice little booklet. The booklet, if we have a look, sort of breaks the episodes down to the synopsis like it does on the disc. So it breaks it down like that. Tells you about all 19 episodes. And on the back, it breaks down in a nice little drawing the town of Eerie in Indiana, and shows you where the guys go on all their adventures and where they pick up different things from different points of town, different parts of town. Some outstanding episodes on this. One of my favourites was where there's a cash machine that's made sort of sentinel, and it can actually converse with people, and it starts to befriend one little boy, and to befriend him it gives him money, so he keeps going back to see him. And really good episode. An episode where things keep going missing, and if they find out that all the missing things are going to one place, and they have to go and rescue it from this place, then get back. It's really good, and it's filmed really well. It's a 3-disc set that was put out on our swing tray. Does deserve some love. It probably does deserve a Blu-ray. Because looking at this, I wouldn't say there's been any sort of restoration work done to it. It pretty much looks like how I remembered it on TV. So I'd imagine it's come straight from those episodes. It's definitely not been altered, it's definitely not been tarted up, there's been nothing done to it. It could be, in theory, you could be watching it off a VHS. That's the kind of quality. But do not let that stop you from picking this set up. Do not let that stop you from checking this out if you've never seen it, because that sort of graininess to it, that sort of rough round the edges feel to it, makes it look and feel even better. And again, every episode is great on it. It works really well for sort of that late teens, so 13, 14, 15-year-olds coming into this kind of stuff. It is really, really good. Even a little bit younger as well as. Now, bear in mind, this was on children's TV between half 3 and half 5 during the week. For some reason, it's a PG, and I can't work out why. Yes, some of the subject matter is probably a little bit scary, but it was on kids' telly, for God's sake. So why has it ended up with parental guidance? I've no idea. But it is really, really good. If you've never checked Eerie Indiana out, check it out. You know what I mean? It's one of those shows that stuck with me forever. But like I said, there's a few shows like this which we'll go and have a look at. But I just want to show this one off, something a little bit different for October. So there's Eerie Indiana. Again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for all the likes and subscribes that we're currently getting. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.